The Admiral thought he ended her career, until every Navy SEAL turned, saluted, and whispered the call sign that froze the base in silence. Valkyrie. This is the story of Amelia Watson, the pilot legends refused to let die. The morning sun spilled over the naval base, turning steel and concrete into a wash of gold. The air smelled of salt, jet fuel, and old iron. SEALs marched across the courtyard in crisp formation, boots striking as one. Their discipline was a rhythm unbroken, until Amelia Watson walked in. She carried a folder in her left hand, orders sealed in red. A duffel was slung over her right shoulder. Her F22 had landed at Miramar hours ago. Now she was expected here, expected. That word never guaranteed welcome. Every step she took drew eyes. Conversations cut off mid-sentence. The eagle on her shoulder gleamed, marking her Air Force, not Navy. In this place, outsiders weren't greeted, they were tested. At the far end, Admiral Briggs appeared. 61, square jaw, grey hair, posture like granite. His stare locked on her. "Watson," he barked. "Air Force, isn't it?" Amelia stopped. She pivoted clean, saluted sharp. "Lieutenant Colonel Amelia Watson reporting, sir. Assigned to joint operations." The Admiral didn't salute back. His glare sliced through the courtyard. "Not here, you're not. We don't need outsiders waltzing in." Amelia lowered her salute with precision. Her jaw clenched, but her eyes stayed calm. She had heard worse. She had been dismissed before. She knew silence often said more than argument. "Understood, Admiral. Then turn around," he snapped. "Head back to Miramar. We've got no use for you here." The words rang heavy. SEALs froze in place, caught between respect for him and curiosity about her. A current passed through them, invisible to Briggs but sharp as electricity. Amelia turned on her heel. Boots struck pavement in steady rhythm. Then it happened. A whisper. Low but enough to carry, "Valkyrie," one word. It spread like fire. SEALs stiffened. One raised his hand in salute. Then another. Then the entire line, rows of men hardened by war, saluting the pilot their Admiral had just expelled. Briggs's face darkened. "What the hell is this?" No one answered. The salutes weren't for him. They were for her. Amelia kept walking, eyes forward, breath controlled. Inside, though, a memory flickered. Kandahar, night skies. A pinned SEAL team begging for help. Command had ordered her out. She had stayed. Hours overhead, running fuel to fumes, guiding them home. That was when the name Valkyrie was given to her. Not by choice, but by men who lived because she refused to let them die. She reached the gates, pausing only long enough to exhale. She didn't need approval. But their reaction told her something she never admitted aloud. They remembered. Briggs stormed back into headquarters, slammed the sealed folder open. His eyes stopped cold. Joint tasking order. Priority 1, air support essential. Pilot, Lieutenant Colonel Amelia Watson. Aircraft, F22 Raptor. Call sign Valkyrie. The Admiral's knuckles whitened on the paper. The legend he thought was a ghost story had just walked onto his base. And outside, Amelia set her folder down at a small kiosk. The barista poured her black coffee. She wrapped her hand around the cup, its heat burning her palm, and stared at the horizon. The watch on her wrist had stopped years ago, frozen at the minute she lost a man she couldn't save. She still wore it. A reminder. The base buzzed behind her. The word Valkyrie was spreading like wildfire. SEALs whispering disbelief, respect, awe. Amelia sipped her coffee, the bitterness grounding her. She thought of the Admiral's glare, of the SEAL's salute, of the folder Briggs had opened, and she thought of tomorrow because tomorrow she would fly. The SEAL commander stood tall, shadow cutting across the table. His hand opened. In it lay her broken watch. The glass was scratched, the hands frozen. "You dropped this," he said, voice steady but edged. Amelia took it back carefully. The leather band was worn, almost torn. "It always falls," she said quietly. He didn't smile. "That's not just a watch. Men say you wore it the night in Helmand." She slipped it onto her wrist again. "Men say a lot of things." The commander leaned closer. "They say Valkyrie stayed in the sky when everyone else turned back. They say you guided them out when the valley was fire." His eyes narrowed. "They salute you because they know the stories are true." Amelia sipped her coffee, letting silence answer. The commander straightened. "Mason," he introduced finally. "Team lead." "Watson," she said. "Orders tell me we're partners, whether your Admiral likes it or not." Mason's jaw tightened. Briggs won't make it easy, but my men trust you already. That counts more than orders. Behind them, the courtyard was alive with whispers. Valkyrie myth turned flesh. The Admiral's authority had cracked, and the sound of it echoed in the air. Later that night, Amelia walked the runway at Miramar. Floodlights painted the F-22 in pale silver. Her hand brushed its skin like one touches a living thing. Her jet didn't care about egos or politics. It obeyed skill and courage. She opened the cockpit. Inside, taped above the console, was a faded photo. Her squadron smiling before a mission that turned into a graveyard. One man missing now. She whispered his name. I won't fail them again. The next day brought the briefing. Mason's team sat silent, their eyes fixed on her. Maps stretched across the table, ridges marked, kill zones highlighted. Mason explained the ground risks. Amelia traced the skies above with her finger, marking routes, anti-air threats, and fallback points. A tall SEAL named Jacobs asked, "Do you believe in luck, ma'am?" Amelia's eyes met his. "I believe in timing. And timing isn't luck. Timing is skill." The room stilled. The men nodded. Mason caught her eye. Respect not given but earned. The briefing froze. The SEALs stiffened in their seats, eyes darting between Amelia and Briggs. The Admiral strode in, boots heavy, pride wounded. He slapped the paper onto the table. It was her reprimand from Kandahar. Disobeyed orders, flew against command, saved a SEAL team but at the cost of insubordination. This, Briggs growled, is who you're following. Silence thickened. Mason's jaw tightened. Jacob stared at the paper. Others shifted uncomfortably. Amelia didn't move. Her eyes stayed on the Admiral. That reprimand is why they lived. That's why they salute. Briggs's voice rose. You don't belong here. You're a risk. One mistake from you and they're body bags. She stood calm as stone. One mistake from me, Admiral, and they're alive. That's the difference. Mason broke the silence. Sir, with respect, her so-called mistake is why half the men in this room are breathing. She's Valkyrie. Paper doesn't change that. The Admiral's face twisted. He turned sharply and stormed out, leaving the paper on the table. Amelia picked it up, folded it, slipped it into her jacket pocket. Not shame, not defense, just a reminder. That night the base was restless. SEALs whispered in the barracks. Some called her reckless. Others called her savior. All agreed tomorrow's mission would decide everything. Amelia sat alone on her bunk. The broken watch ticked silently in her hand, though it had never worked since Helmand. She thought of the men she couldn't save. She thought of the empty wallet in her drawer, the one she carried from her brother who never came home. The past wasn't dead. It sat with her every night. The phone rang. Mason's voice clipped. Briefing room now. She grabbed her jacket and left, her boots echoing down the corridor. When she walked in, the SEAL team was already gathered. Map spread again. Routes marked. Mason's eyes were sharp. We move at 0400, he said. Enemies heavier than expected. Anti-air batteries on the ridge. We won't make it through without cover. All eyes shifted to her. Amelia set her jaw. I'll keep you alive. That's my job. That's my promise. The room breathed relief. Not words, trust. Darkness swallowed the briefing room. Red emergency lights snapped on, painting faces in blood-hued glow. Sirens echoed across the base. Mason barked, "Stay sharp!" The SEALs rose instantly, hands to weapons. Amelia stood still. Her ears caught the faint roar of engines outside. Not American. Not friendly. Drill. Jacobs asked. No, Amelia said. Her voice was low, certain. That's not a drill. The base erupted in motion. Boots pounded down corridors, radios crackled, orders flew. Amelia and Mason pushed into the night air. Above, dark silhouettes streaked low across the horizon. Unknown aircraft. Admiral Briggs stormed out of headquarters, shouting into a handset. Unauthorized flyover, scramble interceptors. But Amelia was already running toward her jet. Her F-22 loomed in the floodlights, a silver predator at rest. She climbed fast, hands moving by memory. Switches, dials, power alive. The cockpit glowed blue as systems came online. Watson! Briggs's voice thundered from the tarmac. Stand down! She didn't answer. Her engines roared. The ground shook. Mason's voice broke through her headset. You flying blind, Valkyrie? Her lips curved faintly. I don't fly blind. I see what they don't. The jet screamed down the runway, fire trailing. The night cracked open as the Valkyrie rose. From the air, Amelia saw them. 3 enemy aircraft, unmarked, banking low. Too close to be coincidence, too bold to be test flights. She angled in, radar sweeping. Her jet locked. Heart steady. Breath measured. Target confirmed, she said calmly. Engaging. Below, SEALs gathered, watching the sky flare with sudden fire. Whispers moved again. Valkyrie.